Welcome to the 21st edition of the Speakeasy Dwellers podcast. It is I, your host, Jared Blazik, and it is currently 11:38, January 25th, 2024. I don't know, I just had a certain urge to record this episode specifically. I just finished finished off my fluids homework, handed that in. That was a lot, man. That was a lot, and most of the stuff I didn't really fully understand. But after I worked it out a bunch, it started to make more sense, so we'll see how that goes. I got a big dent in my structural analysis homework, which is due tomorrow. So I'll get that done. But on other news, I have my RA interview tomorrow, which, cross my fingers, that actually goes well, because currently the situation that I'm in is I've applied for on-campus housing for next year, but they ended up changing it, so there's only one on-campus housing building for next year. There used to be two. There used to be this building called E-Squad, and then there was Park Place where I currently live. I currently live in Park Place. And for this year, they just put it down to Park Place is the only place for continuing students. So I complete the application as soon as I can, and I go around looking for roommates. Surprisingly, it's very difficult to find roommates, even though there's like hundreds of them. But like half of them, all but two didn't respond. Two people responded, only one of which I'm actually rooming with, because the other guy ended up backing out because he couldn't afford the price. Which, I mean, it is kind of expensive here, I will not lie, but it's worth it in the long run, I think, at least. But I'm given the choice right now to either hope that I get randomly selected to fill out like a housing application and choose a room, or I get the RA job. Or if both of those don't work out, I'm gonna have a big housing problem coming up this fall, because it's just gonna be absolute pandemonium, because I'm gonna have to try to find all this kind of stuff, and I'm just gonna be like, oh my gosh, you gotta be joking me. And they said it's gonna be randomly selected, but like, I currently live here right now. Like, if I don't get housing for next semester, isn't that am I technically getting evicted? Like, isn't that technically what this is? Because shouldn't I get preference because I do currently live here, and should be given the option to continue to live here if I want to, instead of me possibly just getting kicked out when next semester comes? So who knows? Cross our fingers, hope for the best. I should be getting an email by the end of January of when I can apply to get all those rooms done. But if that fails, then my next best option is to become an RA, which being an RA is probably the ideal situation. Since as being an RA, you get you get to dorm there for free, plus you get like $4,000 on top of that as like a stipend, which basically pays for like a meal plan. And then you had then some, which is like about $800 afterwards for whatever you want to spend it on. So it's like, all right, that sounds good to me. But considering that I do know a couple people that are like RAs, and considering how they are compared to me, I was like, oh, if these people became RAs, oh my gosh, this should be a walk in the park. Like, I applied to be an RA like a couple months ago, but that was like the second round of RA, and they already chose most of them, their like employees, like during the spring semester of my freshman year. So I was kind of getting the scraps. So unfortunately, I ended up getting deferred, and they did end up opening a spot up for me for this coming semester, or this current semester actually, but it would not have been in Park Place. So I literally would have had to move out of my dorm and move into a new one like midway through the semester, and I just think that's just a bunch of baloney. Like, why would I need to do that? Like, why is that enticing for anyone who is currently living in a dorm who is applied to be an RA to just pack up and move? Like, no, like that's just not what you do, right? I just don't know what exactly the university is thinking. So hopefully that all goes well. Um, let's see, what do I have coming up this week? Um, this Saturday, I am going to go to my first men's basketball game as a fan. Keyword as a fan. I've been to many men's basketball games. Just recently, we beat the number 6 team in the nation, Kentucky, at home. That atmosphere was absolutely electric. I'm telling you, we ended up storming the court, which R.I.P. me. That's the second court storming, or second storming of a field, quote unquote, that I haven't been able to participate in. My freshman year, they stormed the field for the Tennessee game when we upset them 63-38. And then this year we ended up storming the court because we beat men's basketball Kentucky, which was an upset for them. And we're unranked, so it was just crazy that we were able. So we're just them right now. So now I'm gonna be able to go to a men's basketball game this weekend, and hopefully that all goes well. And then right afterwards, I got invited to go to a club hockey game, which I'm excited to go to that. Because I'd never been to one, and they're like, yeah, it was an alternative to another thing that they ended up canceling on. So I was like, you know what, sure. I always complain about myself like not getting invites to things, and then when it comes to it, like when someone actually does invite me, I usually just like say no. So it's like, why do I keep on complaining about it? So I was like, you know what, even though I'm like not totally psyched on it, I'm not gonna deny myself this opportunity again. So I was like, you know what, sure, I'm going out with friends. This is probably like the most ideal scenario. But let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, probably the meat and potatoes of what exactly I wanted to get down to today was, for lack of a better term, love. Like, not just like the idea of love, but kind of getting into that field of thinking. Like, I'm using a lot of likes and ums, which I recently listened to another podcast of mine, and I just heard so many likes and ums, and I was just like, wow, I am so nervous when I'm speaking, even to myself, forgive me. I keep on saying all these likes and ums, and it's just a major turnoff. So I'm gonna see if I can do better for this episode in order to get rid of my likes and ums. Unless, starting now. Yes, starting now. So I recently we've already discussed in probably the past like 5 episodes of my current love life situation. Yada yada yada. If you like, this is like the first episode you're listening to. TLDR, I had a situationship going into this year. It lasted about 4 or 5 months or so, and ended up breaking up. And I didn't handle it very well, and that really ticked her off, rightfully so. She got mad at me, I got mad at myself, went to therapy, then she ended up getting really pissed off at me, and her friends ended up attacking me. So I decided to make the mature decision and back myself out, which is something that she couldn't do. So now we're in this situation where I've been no contact for going on 5-6 weeks at this point. No contact, and I've met so many different people in that time frame, and very embarrassing of me, I've downloaded dating apps because I just don't really know how to put myself out there and meet people in a way that I could form relationships out of these people, other than class, because class is the only time I ever interact with people socially, and actually able to meet people that I could find attractive, or I could find that I could find what's the word I'm looking for that I could find that's not lovable, but it's along the same lines. It's kind of like a person when you see them, and you want to spend the rest of your life with you. Like, you want to spend the rest of your life with them. There we go. And I think that I want to say that's a flaw of mine that even my mom mentioned it to me, that whenever I'm into this stuff, I am all in. So when I lose it, it's just like, damn, what do I do now? I kind of had my whole life planned out, and then now that this is gone, it's just like, now what do I do? But damn it, I said that's crazy. Actually, well, I caught myself. That's probably a good thing. But so as I said, dating apps not really as successful as I thought it was. Most of these people that are swiping on me, not really the most attractive people. But then you have like that one out of like a million person who reaches out to you, and then you respond to them because you're like, oh, okay, this person actually likes me, and then they just don't respond. Like, see, I'm using like in a good sense. It's not just a filler word. Like, there was like 3 times where I was on Hinge, and 3 people reached out to me, all of which I found were like actually attractive. But then I sent them a text, and then just nothing happened. So now what do I do? It's just that I just have to sit there and scroll through again, play dating apps like they're freaking like they're fucking like I'm grocery shopping for these people. Like, you know whenever you go through the produce aisle and you never know which like fruits are the best, so you have to like touch every, like, let's talk about apples for example. Like, when you go down the produce aisle in, let's say, in my case, Adams, or, you know, maybe Food Lion, or Walmart, or whatever has a produce aisle, and you go down, and you can't really tell what fruits are actually good to buy unless you actually like feel them and look at them on all sides, like strawberries, bananas, apples, watermelon, blueberries, anything of the lot. You just have to feel it. And that's how the dating apps feel like you're going through a produce aisle shopping for fruit. And you always select the ones that are like, this is actually good. But then like a store clerk comes up to you, they're like, no, you can't touch that. You can't touch that. If you touch it, you buy it. And I was just like, no, dude, why can't I just buy all of them? But it's like, no, you can't buy it. If you touch it, you buy it. So it's like, okay, I have to stop touching the fruit. So that was a really odd analogy now that I think about it. That was actually, wow, that was a really odd analogy. I stopped myself from saying I was about to say there. But there have been 1, 2, 3 girls who I've taken an interest in. One of them I knew back in my freshman year. We lived in the same dorm and we also had a class together. But I never really saw her after that. But she is part of the Filipino American Society, so I might be able to see her this year if they schedule meetings. The other one was also lived in the same building as me my freshman year, but also lived on the same floor. She also is the same major as me, which is a big thing. So she's in a lot of my classes. And this third one, who was actually the most recent out of all of them, was a girl I met in one of my leadership classes. And I remember I walked in that first day of class, and I mean, I wasn't late, but I was like 5 minutes to being late, meaning I was 5 minutes early. But I had to make like a 25-minute walk in like 20 minutes, and I had to go uphill both ways, and it was just that's terrible. I hate doing that, but you know, c'est la vie. But I remember I sat down, she just kept on looking at me. She just like stared at me like half the time. So I was just like, what's up with this girl? And obviously I look at her and she's beautiful, mind you. And I just got like nervous. I was just like, what am I supposed to do here? I talked to my one friend who's actually now he's the second guy, because I didn't realize this other guy was also in the same class as me. So there's all 3 of us and we're talking. And I was in the back of my mind, I was like, who is this girl and why does she keep on talking to me? And well, she's not talking to me, but she keeps on looking, like taking glances at me. And it's just like I looked behind me several times. Like there's nothing good to look at behind me. So I'm just like, am I loud? Is there something wrong with my appearance? It's like, why is she looking over here? So I was, after that class, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a very beautiful, very attractive girl. And then I was like, I need to talk to her. I like I don't think I wouldn't be able to go like the bed at night and sleep well knowing that I never actually, took a chance to actually interact with them. But lo and behold, I ended up getting paired with her for a talking point where we had to do a little presentation. So I was able to talk to her for a bit. Oh my gosh, her voice smooth as silk, man. That could like put me to sleep. Oh my lord. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, I have to do something about this. I can't just let this be just another class crush. Like, this is something. And so I ended up going back to my dorm, and later that day I decided, okay, I have to find her on Instagram. But it would be weird if, I was the only one that, I followed her. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can find every single one of these people on Instagram, and I'm going to follow them. Well, so I did that. I found half of them on Instagram because they give you the entire class list on Blackboard. So all you have to do is just go down the names and just refer to them on Instagram, and you find their names, and you just press the follow button. And out of all the people I followed, she's the only one that followed me back. Which, to call me delusional, but I think that's a sign. So I was like, okay, she accepted the follow request, she's following me back, alright, this could be working. And then I scroll through her profile, and boom, 2 photos with a boyfriend of like 1 to 2 years, 1.5 years we're gonna say. And I'm just like, oh no, I had all my hopes into this girl who I just met, and I was like, oh man, I am so in love. But I actually took it very well because I was talking with someone and said that I would rather her. There's 2 situations that could possibly go. It's either I find out she has a boyfriend publicly, so I don't really have to worry about anything. I don't even have to make the move, because obviously if she has a boyfriend, then why are you going to make a move? It's obviously going to be no. Or 2, she doesn't have a boyfriend, so you're able to, somewhat make a move. So the latter, or the former, was correct. That she did have a boyfriend, and thankfully it was publicly known. That would have been very embarrassing if I'm midway through talking with her, give it like 2 weeks or so, and all of a sudden I ask her something and she just brings up her boyfriend. I was just like, oh great, mission abort. Which is, again, terrible. It's like I shouldn't be talking to these people just for the fact that I want to date them. But I mean, can you respect the hustle, right? Respect the hustle. So I kind of gave up on that, and how I was like, oh man, this is just terrible. So give it 2 weeks, and like 3 days ago, I looked at my phone and I saw she saw my story. And I didn't know it was her originally. I was just scrolling through my story to see who was watching it, like to see the views and stuff. And I saw her name on there, and I was like, who is this person? I don't think I've ever seen this person before. And I mean, I have a lot of bots that come in there and just start liking it. But I saw her name, I was like, this is not a bot. So I was like, who's this person? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's that day 1 class crush girl that had a boyfriend. And then guess what? You will not believe this. I look at her Instagram profile. No more boyfriend. She had two or 3 photos with her and her boyfriend. None of them exist anymore. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, this must be a chance given by God right now. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Well, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do with that. I'm supposed to, try something, try anything until obviously it doesn't work out. I got to be smooth like a criminal, like Michael Jackson type beat right there. But I ended up reaching out to her because I ended up responding to one of her stories because she posted a photo of one of the guys jumping into the pool the little fountain pool right outside of Colonial Life Arena, and I responded and said, "Man, I really wish I really missed out. Like, I'm really upset that I missed out on doing that because I was wearing my Carolina gear for band, and I'm sure if that photo got out, if I was like involved in that in any way, I definitely would have got called out because as much as Carolina band is fun, there's a big image component as well, and you can't have that image be tarnished. So if I wasn't wearing Carolina band stuff and identifying in a way with Carolina band, I would have definitely been in there, and I probably would have definitely jumped into the pool. But she ended up reading that, and then she just left me on like red, and I was just, what am I supposed to do? I can't just do a double text because that's just weird. First of all, this girl knows nothing about me, but she needs to know something about me, right? This is like half the thing when it comes to getting to know each other, is that you have to like get out of your comfort zone like at least a bit. You just have to be a tad bit curious, but it's figuring out the balance between curiosity and then overbearing. And I feel like I teeter that edge and I go from side to side very jarringly, and I can't tell which one is which, and I can't categorize it. So it's like a big fear of mine. It's a big phobia of mine when it comes to making first moves, which is that a healthy thing for me to make first moves? Because again, I recently came out of the situationship. I'm still mentally messed up because of it. I'm actually doing quite well recently when it comes to mental, and I think that's mostly because I'm able to distract myself while either doing work, playing games, watching YouTube, or going to games, going outside and doing all these sporting events, which are really getting my serotonin up. And maybe that's what's really helping me out. But it's just nice being happy and looking forward to something rather than sulking around in the past and just being eternally angry. I mean, I am like eternally angered. There we go. And I'm just always going to be pissed off at this person whenever I see them. But the panic attacks are down. Whenever I cross through campus, I try not to get too caught up in the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm going to be passing by a place where she usually frequents, and I might have a chance of seeing them on my walk, a necessary walk that I need to get from point A to point B. So that kind of fear still scares me, but I'm working with it. I'm working through it. But I don't know what exactly I want to do with my life, dating wise, because here I am. I'm trying to pursue, like, I haven't followed up with one of the girls. I probably should, just to pop a chance, because again, we did match on Hinge, but I don't know if it was the fact that she matched with me because she wanted to respond to the question, or she matched because she was interested. But like, all three of them, I would love to have a relationship with them, but obviously I can't be polygamous and have a relationship with all three of them simultaneously. So at one point I have to choose. But last time I was in the exact same situation last year, where I was basically forced to choose between two people, one of which was the girl who I had the situationship with, and the other was the girl that I'm kind of talking to right now. And I realized then it just wasn't worth my time to pursue this girl who I actually really, really liked. And instead went to the girl who obviously there was an actual connection there. So, do I regret it? Kinda. Am I a better person because of it? Yes. So, we all know how that goes. And the other girl has actually been really nice to me. And I don't know, it's just how she is. If that's how she is as just a person, and there's like no ulterior motives, then man, I am so lucky to have her like in my life. Not as a relationship, but just as a person in general. Just very happy to have her in my life. and I'll forever be thankful for that. But I really don't want to mess it up in this pursuit, quote unquote, for a relationship, and I really don't want to ruin the friendship we already have. And I already feel like I'm, fucking it up in more ways than one right now by, trying to start conversations and stuff. But, I guess her being friendly is just who she is as a person. I just kind of have to read hints and hope that, I never have to force her to make the decision where it's between her either actually liking me in some fashion or being interested in dating someone, or her, friend zoning me, or even worse, flat out just ignoring me for the rest of my life. So those are the two situations I say this on a smile on my face. These are the two situations I'm faced with. So the other girl, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do about her. I want to hope and I want to try my best to see if I can start anything with that, but I don't know if it's gonna work out. But you can't blame a guy for trying, at least, right? So, but yeah, I was talking to a guy earlier today on one of my walks, and I feel like a fisherman on a fishing boat, like one of those big fishing boats that have all the rods that are put into their holders, and they just have lines cast out, and they just wait until one of them bites. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm just out there in the ocean, throwing rods, waiting for a fish to bite. That isn't to say I wouldn't mind all of them biting. Like, obviously fish is fish, game is game. I want all of these lines to be good. But you have to realize that most of these lines are going to be duds, and you're only doing it because it's a numbers game. And that can't possibly be love. But that's just gotta be passion, right? Is passion the feeling that I'm having right now? Am I mixing up my physical emotions for my mental emotions? Am I getting the two mixed up? Because I'd like to think that I would love to hang out with these people, and they seem to have wonderful families and wonderful morals and stuff. But is that just what a relationship is at the end of the day? Just a friend that you always can have? And I think if either of them were to work out, I think I would get that. But one of those irrational fears is that if I do get too far, I might find something that might turn me off completely. And if people are usually stubborn in their own ways. I mean, I am too. I'm victim of it. But if they're not willing to change like this last one was in order to benefit the relationship rather than personal gain, it's just going to be the entire thing over again. I'm just going to get heartbroken. But I guess that's just life. So, as the motivational lizard once said, don't leave anything up to chance. And I really want to take a chance on both. But I just don't know what's going to happen if one of these end up going south, because I don't know what would happen. Because I mean, the one girl I've only known for like a week. The other one I've known for like a year. So I don't know what I would do if I lost this one person, the person I know for a year, and just sit in class with them. Even though they sat on the opposite side, but just seeing them in the hallway and having that constant presence in that room. I just don't know what I would do if I ever lost that person. But who knows? Hopefully everything works out. I'll do my best. I'm not. Alright, we're back. Sorry, mic died again. This time I knew that I had to pause the recording, which is something I didn't know I could actually do. So basically just froze the recording time in place. So now it's like playing now. So I really need to figure out. That's the second time that's happened where I've had my headset die. And maybe I just need to constantly have my headset plugged in because its battery dies too fast. Or maybe I just have it on for extended amounts of time. Who knows? Who knows? But I really want to take a chance on both, and you can't really blame a guy for trying. But I don't know if I'm ready, or if this is like, am I mentally ready enough to be pursuing relationships? And is that healthy for me? Because does that just show that I'm just super uber dependent on one person to make me happy and make me feel complete? Because I feel like I'm really happy right now, but I mean, I am pursuing these people, but for the most part I'm not obsessed with them. Like, I still have a very complete in quotation marks life right now, and I think I'm happy with where I am for the most part. So maybe it's time to start again and figure something out. But hopefully all these different things work out for the best. If not, I just get really good friends, hopefully. That's what I need a lot more of, female friends. I need more people to keep me in check. I need more people to just say, hey, can we talk? And they'll be like, hell yeah, and they'll just drive over and we'll just drive and talk. And I'll just vent out to them, and they'll give me like girl advice. And I love girl advice. I love girl advice. I live for that kind of stuff. But you know, I don't get a lot of those because, well, I don't have a lot of girlfriends. Girlfriends, two different words, not one word. If I had a lot of girlfriends, we'd be having a totally different conversation right now. But it is getting late. It is now Friday at 12:11 a.m. and I need to get some sleep. So thank y'all for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And for those of y'all that are listening to it on Spotify, don't forget to share, rate, and I think there's a Q&A thing on this. I don't really know, but share it with your friends. The audience is greatly appreciated, and I love the support that I've been getting recently, all the feedback. So, love y'all. Peace out. Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.